Hi everyone, I'm Kim Ellison. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. The situation continues to escalate in Ukraine. With Russian troops taking control of Ukraine's Crimea region, the Ukrainian Prime Minister has warned that his country was on the brink of disaster. At the Vatican, Pope Francis asked those gathered for Sunday's Angelus to pray for the situation, that it would come to a peaceful solution. Catholic News Service has more.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, vi chiedo di pregare ancora per l'Ucraina, che sta vivendo una situazione delicata, mentre auspico che tutte le componenti del Paese si adoperino per superare l'incomprensione e per costruire insieme il futuro della nazione. Rivolgo alla comunità internazionale un accorato appello affinché sostenga ogni iniziativa in favore del dialogo e della concordia.
In other news from the Vatican, as his upcoming Lenten retreat with top Vatican officials approaches, Pope Francis met with an Italian Federation of Spiritual Directors and those who run retreat houses throughout the country. During his meeting, the Pope said that those who experience a retreat in an authentic way return renewed and transfigured in their daily lives, their ministry, and their relationships. The Vatican had announced in October that Pope Francis had decided that he and his senior aides would not have their Lenten retreat in the Vatican, but would go to the Pauline Fathers Retreat and Conference Center in a town about 20 miles southeast of Rome. Monsignor Angelo Di Donatis, a popular spiritual director and pastor of a parish in the center of Rome, will direct the March 9th through the 14th retreat. Staying at the Vatican with the beginning of the new month, Pope Francis has released his prayer intentions for March. Rome Reports tells us what the Pope is focusing on this month.
During the month of March, the prayer intentions for Pope Francis will focus on women in consecrated life. The Pope's universal intentions are so that in all cultures, the rights and dignity of women are respected. For the missionary intentions, the Pope called for prayers for priestly and consecrated vocations so that young people can take up God's call to dedicate their lives to preaching the gospel.
Looking now at news from around the country, according to the results of a recent survey, American Catholics' opinions on same-sex marriage have changed dramatically in the last decade. The survey, conducted by the Public Religion and Research Institute in Washington, found that 58% of white Catholics and 56% of Hispanic Catholics favor same-sex marriage. This is up 22% from 2003. However, when it came to those who said they attend Mass weekly, only 45% were in favor of same-sex marriage. The survey also found that the Catholic Church is perceived as the most unfriendly religion to LGBT individuals. 58% of Americans polled think that the Catholic Church is unfriendly to the LGBT community. 55% of Catholics polled also believed this is true, and among LGBT individuals themselves, 73% perceive that the Catholic Church is unfriendly to them. Though Catholic Church teaching upholds the sanctity of traditional marriage as between one man and one woman, the Church teaches that gays and lesbians must be protected from unjust discrimination and harassment. We go back to the Vatican now. The canonizations of Blessed John Paul II and Blessed John XXIII are fast approaching, and the Vatican is preparing for April 27th. Here are just a few of the special items that will be available to commemorate this historic event.
The Vatican minted new coins dedicated to the canonizations of John Paul II and John XXIII. The special release will also include stamps due out at the end of March, but collectors can get their hands on these commemorative coins out now.
We started with the images that people have closer to their hearts that show the fondness of these two popes.
The Polish Pope's coin, made of gold, can be purchased for €50 or $69. Meanwhile, the Good Pope's silver coin will be available for €20 or $28.
Pope John XXIII, we show him given a blessing with St. Peter's Basilica in the back and a full moon, a clear reference to that famous speech about the moon. Meanwhile, John Paul II is depicted with a globe behind him, also in mid-blessing and with a mitra. We wanted to show how many people remember him, traveling to meet with the faithful across the world.
The newly minted coins will be released along with the first Vatican Euro coins in 2014, which feature Pope Francis, as well as 2 medallions in silver and bronze.
And finally in the news, an historic ordination took place last week in St. Louis as Father Wissama Kiki became the first married man to be ordained a priest for the U.S. Maronite Catholic Church. With permission granted by Pope Francis, Bishop Elias Zedin of the U.S. Maronite Eparchy of Our Lady of Lebanon ordained the married deacon at St. Raymond's Maronite Cathedral. The Maronite Church is among 22 Eastern Catholic churches that are in union with Rome. These Eastern churches have an ancient tradition of allowing married men to become priests, although since the 1920s, the practice generally has not been permitted in the United States. Though Father Akiki has been ordained a priest, as a married priest, he is not allowed to be a bishop. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson, and don't forget you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.